Crossovers. Whether it's for a video game or a movie, crossover events are always so much fun to witness because we get to see different universes collide and interact with one another. Even if the universes that are crossing over don't relate too much to each other, our curiosity gets the best of us and we want to see what will happen. Really? The next Mega Man game is gonna have him and Captain Crunch go on an overseas adventure? That's so stupid.
I want it right now.
It also doesn't matter what age or gender you are, there's a crossover for everyone to enjoy. There's a crossover for children, and there's a crossover for men. To sum it up, crossovers, no matter how great or horrible they sound, are always exciting and intriguing, and if companies can work together to bring their properties together, they can create something not only successful, but also magical. And I do mean magical. I mean, when's the next time we'll get to see Princess Peach break the Atlanta Hawks' ankles? With Nintendo having massive success with their crossover franchise, Super Smash Bros., it showed that SEGA could also potentially have huge success in creating a crossover game with all their IPs, and so they did just that. Even though a SEGA crossover game already sounded great on its own, they had to get creative and go big and bold to create a crossover event like none other. So what kind of game did they create? Well, the answer takes place all the way back in 2008.
SEGA!
That's it! Nintendo's had way too much success with their crossover games. We need a crossover game for ourselves right now and take down Nintendo.
Take down Nintendo? I thought we're on good terms with them. They just put Sonic in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and we just produced Mario and Sonic in the Olympic Games together.
Yeah, but they put Sonic in the last spot on the character select screen, and they just had to put Mario's name first before Sonic's in the Olympic Games. Those plumber-loving scumbags think they're so much better than us with their Pikmins and their Pikachus.
So, are you suggesting we create our own SEGA fighting game?
No, something bigger.
Create a crossover game with a different popular genre like kart racing?
No, bigger. Frickin' tennis.
Yes! Wait, what? Yeah. Tennis. You didn't want to start with a safer route and create a game involving a more popular genre like racing, or even do a more popular sport like Sega Soccer? Sega betting on the ponies? No? Okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering that there's not too many tennis games out there, so it'll stand out more, and Mario's had pretty good success with his own variety of tennis games. And yeah, it was 2008, meaning the Wii was only 2 years old and still doing incredibly well, so they had to make a game where kids could go. A tennis video game may seem like an odd choice, but you know what they say, don't knock it till you try it. So I'm going to play Sega Superstars Tennis and see how Sega utilizes their worlds and characters within the game of tennis and how they push the ideas of a tennis video game to new boundaries. Holy crap, this game sucks. Okay, let's start with the things that I did enjoy about this game. You can unlock music for the courts and you get to pick which song you'd like to listen to while playing. That's pretty nice. But that's it! There is absolutely nothing in this game that got me excited about playing it. Alright. Let's slow down. This is a crossover game, so let's take a look at the characters. Here's the roster. Yeah. I mean, you got 5 Sonic characters. That's pretty cool. And other series got more than one character like Mimi from Super Monkey Ball and Pudding from Space Channel 5. Neat. There's Knights. Ugh, it's so hard to say nice things about this. Look, the roster isn't bad itself, but the character models are just so ugly. Look at Alex Kidd. He looks like that one kid who's dying from disease in every drama movie who spends his whole time in the hospital and dies at the end. When's the last time you ate something, buddy? And look at Sonic and Dr. Eggman. What are they doing? Why are they looking up? What are they looking at? No one stands and presents themselves like that.
Please welcome your next presidential candidate, Raptorlick.
My fellow Americans, with your help, we can raise inflation by 500%. Even the courts are ugly, and not by their models, but by their names. Look at this court. This is clearly Green Hill Zone, but when you go to select the court, it's titled Sonic the Hedgehog. What? You couldn't just call it Green Hill Zone? That's like playing Super Smash Bros., selecting Newport City as a stage, and then saying, "Oh boy, my favorite stage, Lucas." To make it even worse, there's another court that's clearly modeled after some form of Dr. Eggman's laboratory, and that's also called Sonic the Hedgehog. You're probably saying right now, "Stop ranting about the characters and courts and just show us the gameplay." Alright, fine. I'll show you the gameplay. there is nothing about the gameplay that is exciting or different in any way. Oh wait, there's special moves for each character? Ooh, we've never seen that before. I get that tennis is not the most exciting sport when compared to others with a ton of action like football, but they could have at least used some elements to create hazards for each court to make things more exciting. In Green Hill Zone, oh sorry, my bad, in Sonic the Hedgehog, characters like Knuckles, Blaze, Silver, and Big can be found hanging out around the court. The game developers didn't do anything with them except to just make them as references for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. They could have had Silver use his ESP to mess up the winning player's controls for a short period of time, or had Blaze use her pyrokinetic powers to light the ball on fire to stun a player. I know Mario Tennis Ultra Smash wasn't a great game, but at least in that game they got creative with the different power-ups and had Mario get bigger, and in Mario Tennis Aces they had Luigi get bigger. Just do something to add some unique elements to the gameplay.
Hello, ladies!
What is unique in the game is the Superstars mode. It's a game mode involving different missions from the different SEGA universes. What's unique about it is that the missions don't involve tennis. Okay, that's sort of a lie. There are missions that involve playing in matches and tournaments, as well as missions where you hit tennis balls to push monkey balls into goals or paint graffiti designs. However, there are missions that just involve running around to collect rings while avoiding attacks from Eggbots, or running away from the SWAT team. It's not like I'm using my tennis racket to attack the Eggbots back with tennis balls, or using it to attack the SWAT team while they try to catch me. I'm just moving and dodging the whole time.
Get away! What does this have to do with tennis?
Honestly, this game just isn't good. The gameplay is rather bland and slow, it doesn't look too great in terms of the models and designs, and the missions felt repetitive even though you were playing in different SEGA worlds. 2 years later, SEGA produced another crossover game, but this time going with a racing game rather than another tennis game, and let me tell you what I think about this game.
Very good indeed.
Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing is a fantastic racing game, and improves it with its opening cutscene. You got Tails flying into an island, then suddenly, boom, a Mango comes zipping down the road, and there's that guy. Then I eats a banana. He's so cool. He's battling with Lila for the lead. Oh my god, is that Ryu and Ken? Oh no, it's Dr. Eggman. Tails, look out. Yay, Sonic's here. Oh no, Sonic, will he live? Yeah, will he win? Yeah. The title then slides in. Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing. And I love this title change from SEGA Superstars. They were like, look, Sonic's our golden child. We gotta add his name to the title. But the rest of you guys are no longer superstars, but instead all-stars. Because we're all in this together. Based on the opening cutscene in my own words, you would think that the gameplay for this racing game is outstanding. Well, for the gameplay and the racing controls themselves, they're really good, but there's nothing really special about them when compared to other racing games. The driving feels good, depending on which character you pick when it comes to controlling, turning, and drifting. On the tracks, there's boost pads, ramps to drive off of and perform tricks, some hazards, and items to grab. It's got the necessary elements for a fictional racing game, but doesn't really add or change up anything to bring something extremely new to the players. I mean, one of the items is a red rocket that locks onto opponents ahead of you and blasts them. Come on, you're not fooling anyone here. So, if the gameplay is just solid, but nothing amazing, then why is this game awesome? Well, the reason why this is an awesome racing game is because everything else about it is incredible. The character selection has a lot of great choices. They added some characters from series that weren't in the previous game, like Billy Hatcher, BD Joe from Crazy Taxi, Zobio and Zopico, and the Bonanza Brothers. Which, admit it, when you first unlocked these characters, your thought was, oh sweet, I unlocked Legos! The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise also got some new characters added, like Knuckles, Metal Sonic as DLC, and... this has got to be the weirdest choice for a new additional character. But damn is it awesome! SEGA, we applaud you! Unfortunately, some characters from SEGA Superstars Tennis, like Mimi, Pudding, and many more, did not return. May they rest in peace. Knights came back though, but he got demoted to the Flagman. Lakitu is the Flagman in Mario Kart, but Mario still lets him participate in the fun. What do you have to say about that, Sonic? One of the coolest parts about the roster is that there are console-exclusive characters. In the Wii version, you can race as your Mii, but we all know that you didn't race as your Mii. Knowing what everyone most likely did, they should have just called the Wii version Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing with... For the Xbox 360 version, not only can you race as your avatar, but you can also race as Banjo and Kazooie! The good version! Last but not least is PlayStation, and what exclusive character did they get?
You get nothing! You lose!
Seriously? PlayStation doesn't get an exclusive character? You couldn't give them a character from a PlayStation exclusive series? I mean, I wouldn't particularly like this, but they could have made Metal Sonic as a PlayStation exclusive character instead of DLC for everyone. Heck, just to give PlayStation something, give them an absurd random character like Dark Gaia. Another reason why the character roster is so great is because not everyone drives a car as their vehicle. Tails flies in a plane, Shadow rides his motorcycle, Knuckles drives an ATV, Dr. Eggman controls a monster truck, and Opa Opa uses his Red Bull sponsorship. Every character having their own unique vehicle just adds more personality and style to them on top of their animations. Also, I'm glad you're doing better, buddy. There's also victory screens for the characters when they win. Looking at Sonic's, at first, I totally thought he was giving everyone the finger. Ha! I won, Eggman! How about you go ahead and suck on this? Then with Ai, let's just say, he ain't afraid to shake what his mama gave him.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the characters are great in every way, but now looking at the tracks, I must say, these are some of my favorite racing tracks in any racing game. The developers definitely looked at how each series and its worlds stand out from one another to help them design the tracks. For Sonic the Hedgehog, you race in these underwater tunnels of Seaside Hill and drive down giant pinball machines. All of these obviously having the iconic Sonic the Hedgehog loop-de-loops. The Super Monkey Ball tracks have the sharp turns you would experience in an average Super Monkey Ball stage. Samba de Amigo tracks are bright with multiple colors and have crazy jumps to represent the party style of the games.
Oh god, I think I'm gonna be sick! Ugh.
Swimming through the sewers, driving on top of skyscrapers, speeding down a prehistoric volcano, I could go on and on about how amazing each track is with its various styles, elements, outlines, and music selections. The game offers your typical single and multiplayer races, tournaments, and time trials. There's also a mission mode that offers different challenges like driving around to collect objects like Chaos Emeralds or bananas, drifting to get points, and battling an opponent using weapons. They are your typical racing challenges, but they are pretty fun to play through, and each one has their own little story to it, which is a nice little touch. One thing this game added that wasn't necessary but adds more content is a collection section. In there, you can see each track's outline and learn about their locations. They do a similar thing for the characters. Clicking on a character tells you their species, first appearance, likes, skills, vehicle name, and all-star move, along with a short biography. Some facts stated in this game that stand out to me are Shadow's likes. Shadow likes nothing. You hear that, Maria? Apparently he doesn't like you. I guess you could say that you're dead to him. Then looking at the avatar skills, it says playing with friends. That's not a skill. That's like saying my special skill is putting on socks. Holy crap! That's going on my resume! And how could I forget about the famous Sonic Says loading screens? These are tips that Sonic gives you while the game is loading. Some are useful, but some seem to subtly promote violence. Sonic Says, SEGA miles are displayed on your license.
Beat your friends.
Even though I've been saying all of these great things about this game, I did save the best for last. The best thing about this game is the announcer.
Ooh la Lion's a fine race ahead of the pack. Well done, and she's all started up. The winner is Amigo. Hey, Groovy Monkey, you're my number one too.
The announcer in this game is just so much fun. He'll make jokes if you're losing, he'll talk about certain characters if something good or bad happens to them, and he just has this tone and energy that gets you excited to keep playing the game. You really feel like he's there watching the race, and I've never experienced playing any kind of game with an announcer like him. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is a fun and incredible racing game, and was very well received, so obviously a sequel came out 2 years later, giving Sega fans Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. And typically when a sequel comes out, the first question people ask is it better or worse than the first one? And to answer that question for you guys right now, absolutely. First off, I want to say that I think it's kind of weird that they removed Sega from the title, so now it's just Sonic and All-Stars Racing. Like, who are the All-Stars? Babe Ruth? Eddie Murphy? A ham sandwich? Who? But they added Transform to the title, so what about this game makes it transformed? Well, let me show you. You can be driving along all peacefully, then suddenly, ah, a dragon! Phew! Thank God my car can turn into a plane. Oh crap, we're going down! Phew! Thank God my plane can turn into a boat. Land ho! Whoa! Phew! Thank God my boat can turn into a car. Yes, this game makes you feel like Shia LaBeouf because you get to see vehicles transform. The transformation between car, boat, and plane creates two unique factors when it comes to the gameplay. One, it allows the tracks to change every lap or so. One of the new tracks in the game is Burning Deaths. The first lap has you racing your car until the second lap where Ocean Park starts to flood. This transforms your vehicle into a boat and the layout changes from the first lap, creating new turns and shortcuts. Second, it doesn't just change your vehicle, it changes your controls and the physics. The car portions involve controls and physics similar to the first game, but the boat and plane feel and play completely different. The boat portions have turning controls that aren't as precise and sharp as you'd like them to be and affect your momentum when you drive into and over waves. Just like real boats! Wow! The plane portions allow you to go up and down and left and right freely with its inverted controls, barrel rolling, and...
What in the cat in the hat is that thing?
There's nothing really new in terms of game modes when compared to the previous game, but it does change up the game modes that do return. For mission mode, the missions themselves are vastly different from the first game. There's battle races, tank boss fights, and traffic attack, which has cars try and hit you while you try to pass through checkpoints. And these missions can be so difficult. Unless you're from Chicago, then it's probably pretty easy. Hey, this is just my commute to work, what's the big whoop? Mission mode now has you go on this path menu with branching routes. Completing missions on higher difficulties can open up new branches which can lead to unlocking new characters and mods. The mods allow you to change up the stats for each vehicle, which is pretty nice since those allow you to play as your favorite characters but select the vehicle stats that better fit your playstyle. And now on to the characters. New additions from Sega's history are Vice, Joe Musashi, and one of the coolest racers, Ages, which represents Sega as a whole. It even plays the iconic soundbite when transforming. So good. New third-party characters also make an appearance in this game. We got Wreck-It Ralph and Aaron Rodgers' ex-girlfriend. I really like these characters being added to this game. It's cool to get a character from a movie that Sonic also appeared in, and it's awesome that they got a real famous race car driver to join all of these video game characters. Along with all of that, every character who only appeared in Sega Superstars Tennis returned for this game as playable characters. Even Knights, who got replaced as the flagman with the Carl's Jr. mascot. And man, is he looking better than okay. But with some good things, there's a price to pay, and to make room for them, some of the more fun characters in my opinion, like Billy Hatcher, Big, and Zobio and Zopiko, got cut. May they rest in peace. Another thing to note is that besides the Mies and avatars, there are absolutely no console exclusive characters. Yeah, there's no console exclusive characters, but there's definitely some PC exclusive characters. You got Shogun, Football Manager, Team Fortress, General Winter, Wilhelmus, Yogscast, and that guy. Let's see, is there anything else about Transform that's new? Oh yeah, there's a new Blowfish item that sounds like a toot. So that's pretty much it for Transformed. There's new styles of racing with the various transformations, which means tracks with more diversity and elements in them, a better mission mode, and great new characters. So why is this game not way better than Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? Well, have you ever heard of the phrase, less is more? That's how I feel when it comes to these two racing games. Transformed, I feel, was created with the intent to literally transform the genre and create a challenging but fun racing game, which is what they did. However, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing feels like it had more of an intention to create a fun, party racing game, which is something that you want coming from characters like these. You can see the more fun side of the game through the different vehicles and styles each character had. Sonic had a flashy race car and Tails had an airplane, but in Transformed, Sonic and Tails both have a race car and an airplane. Transformed sort of took away the personal style of the vehicles to make sure that every vehicle could properly turn into a car, a boat, and a plane. Even then, it's not like the new vehicles in Transformed are awful. I know Shadow riding his motorcycle is so fitting, but it's cool to see him drive what is essentially a gun tank. And Amigo now drives a train, which is sick because trains are f***ing awesome! And some characters don't necessarily drive cars like everyone else. Looking at Knuckles, he drives a... tricycle? What are you, 4 years old? Even the announcer changed from the first game to Transformed and no longer says funny lines during the race. The announcer in Transformed just announces which item you grabbed, that you pulled off a certain boost, and who's going all-star with no joke or unique dialogue. He also just kind of sounds like an AI voice for your phone. Hey Transformed announcer, what's the weather like today?
Frozen.
What does that mean? Is it snowing, hailing, or is it just cold? You need to get better at answering these questions.
Blow me?
While Transformed is more challenging and offers more in terms of track layouts, missions, and racing styles, the previous game just feels more simple, casual, and fun while still providing a great racing game, which is why I prefer Sonic SEGA All-Stars Racing, but honestly, I would be more than happy to play Transformed if offered to. Then after Transformed, we got... nothing. It's really unfortunate. It's been over 10 years and we haven't gotten a new SEGA Superstars game. I'm really hoping that maybe in the future they'll come out with a third racing game, since the two that they created are both amazing. Heck, I wouldn't even mind a new sports game. SEGA, look, I'm just gonna say this. If you make SEGA Hoops, you got my money. I mean, just imagine how awesome it would be to see the Bonanza Brothers recreate this moment. I just looked it up now, and it's rumored that SEGA's working on a 5th SEGA Superstars game, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Well, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your hopes for the next SEGA Superstars game? And I will see you guys wait, a 5th game? When this next one would be the 4th game? Let me look again. Wait, there was a SEGA Superstars game that came out for the PlayStation 2 back in 2004? Oh, I gotta see some gameplay of this. So you just use motion controls to turn Sonic through a tunnel? You just punch zombies? Crazy Taxi is just waving your arms to catch a ride? You know, I never knew you were coming from a dark place. You were coming off a game with no real ideas or effort. You at least did your best to bring all these amazing characters into one game where they interacted with one another to make it feel like a real crossover event. I am so glad to know that you are more than just another tennis game. You're a tennis game that tried to be better for the fans. And for that, I thank you. Still trash though.